Yeah. I need your 100% attention here because this is very important. 99% without this topic, your interview is not going to be done. 99%. You must know about this, right? So let's do a start. So when I talk about the security pillars, the very first things comes as CIA triad. And we know like the confidentiality, integrity, and everything that widely used in any kind of security system. I say that. Without that, there is no security system can be set up. All the organizations when building the securities based on the CIA standard, they need to make the security system, right or not? So here a simple but widely applicable security modules in the CIA triad standing forms. That's nothing but the confidentiality, integrity, and coverage. Now the principle is applicable across the whole subject of security analysis. Like whenever we get an access to the internet, where we are sharing the file, we are receiving the file, whatever the transactions you're doing it is based on the CIA triad. If you need to secure the entire process. So encryptions, data across the internet, whenever we send, they use a different method in order to protect your data. Right? So in that, the first thing comes as confidentiality. Now, confidentiality is the ability to hide the information from those people. What are those people? Unauthorized people. They should not be able to see your information. They should not be able to read your information, right or not? So here we can see that perhaps the most objective aspect of the CIA triad where it comes to the security. But the thing is that corresponding it also one of which attack most often. Like, the fact is that the most of time attack happens on the confidential part of it, and it is a very important to secure that. So here we can see that cryptography and encryptions are the method to ensure the confidentiality of your data transfer on the computer from one to the another. So proper cryptography usage. For example, here we can see like hashing method, like the encrypting in a different type cryptography they use. They should not be able to read that. A non-understandable format should be there. Got it, my point? So that is called as confidentiality. Now, if I talk about the integrity, integrity involves making sure your data is trustworthy and free from tampering. There should not be modification. There should not be any kind of modification. There should not be change anything here, right or no? That is what we call as integrity. So integrity of your data is maintained only if data is authenticate, accurate, and reliable. Then only we say that this data is integrated. So to protect this integrity of your data, you use hashing system, encryption system, digital certification, and digital signatures. These are the some of the method we can maintain the integrity of any data. If any modification is done, immediately we'll get. So if I'll say you a very simple example of integrity, I'll tell you one thing. You order a food is coming to your door, but the food packet is not sealed. What do you think? Do you accept that food packet? Why?
Because the delivery might eat or open the box or something.
Some changes may happen there, right or not? But if the food packet it reach and is sealed, it's sealed. Even though it come all over the way. And if you are opening the seals, means nobody has opened that seal. That give you a sense of confidence that my food packet is safe. My food packet is secure. Right or no? So that is the part of called as integrity. So when I talk about the hashing method, it is used the similar way. The hashing method which use the similar way. Let's see that. What I'm trying to explain you that. Okay. Now I'm trying to check you something here. I will show you something. I'm ethical hacker, right? I'm trying to do this encryptions here. So when you can see that I got some hash value here, right? I am ethical hacker. Is that clear? Now I got this value here. Now what I'm going to do it, I'll copy this. I'll go to the notepad and paste this. You got it? This is the hash value for that, right? Now I'm doing something change here. Now I got some other value here, right? Now what I mean to say that when I paste these two things here, you can see that the small changes will changes this entire code here. Only one space. Only means like something happened here, right or not? Some tampering happened here. Even if I made it like small letter to the uppercase to the lowercase also, the complete hash value gets changed. So there is a modification as that, which should not be allowed. And this is what like give you the confidence your data is secure here. It's not tampered here. Do you agree my point, guys? Is that fine, everybody? So that's what I want to say. Like that plays a part of like we call as integrity here. We call as integrity. So your data is maintained only if data is authenticate, accurate, and reliable. To protect this, we have integrity of your data. You can use hashing, encryptions, digital certifications, or digital signature scanning. Now, if I talk about it, availability. Now, even if the data is kept confidential and it is integrity is maintained, often is useless unless it is available to those in the organization that customer or they serve. It's like we applied all the prospects of confidentiality. We maintain integrity into the higher order, but in the way of availability, when you need to get access that data, you are the authorized person. Your customers are the authorized person when they need to get access those services or the data or the application if it's not available, then what is the use of integrity and confidentiality? Are you getting my point? Why we applying that? To make your data secure, but if not access, then what is the use of that? So we need to make sure that the service should always available at the quick possible when I needed to get access to that. Got it my point? That's part we call as availability here. So this means the systems, networks, and applications must be functioning as they should and when they should want. Like when they need it, they should be working. They should be always in working conditions. So also individual with access to specific information must be able to consume it when you need it to. It should be getting to you. Like you can should store it, access it, whatever the storage you want it, you can do it. So the data should not take an inordinate amount of time whenever you require the data. In the very simple manner, unnecessary it should not get increase the timeline. Is that clear? Have you understood about that? CIA triad, which is very important. Now, what next? The next comes IAAA, identification. We have like authentications, authorizations, and accountability. Identification, authentications plays major role. Then we talk about authorizations and accountability. Identification is nothing but the person who's going to get access to the system, the person who's going to use the asset, the person who was there in the private network and performing the certain activities, that must be get identified. Who are you? Who are you? That's very important part, right or not? What are you doing to get press? I should know who are you. Your identification. They are 2,000, 3,000 employees are there in the organizations. What are the tasks they're performing? Who are doing what are the activities they're performing? That's are to be get identified, right? Yes or no? So identifications part is a very important. What is your device ID? Okay. What is your username? What is your employee ID? What is your access code? All those things should be there. So that comes on the identification. Identifying everybody in the organization. Got it? Now, the process to use the system should be uniquely identify, enable the tracking or logging of this activity by the user. So they process the activity by the process of issuing the ID should be secure and require the proper authorizations for those. Like who's have been getting access. Because somebody else is taken access, that will be a problem, right? Now what we have the next part, when I say the next part here, the next part is that authorization. Authorization means like got it identifications. The IM team will do this part, na? Who will do?
Identity access management.
Identity access management people are there for giving you the rights, access, identification, your allocations of user, username, password, and everything, right or not? So whenever you need. So when I talk about the authorizations, are you authorized to use this? What are the limitations are there in using this? Like if the server is there, what kind of extent you can go it? Are you there able to read the file? Only write the file, read or write. You have a complete control of those files that you can delete it, you can modify, whatever you can do it. What are the privilege can be given to the particular user based on his designations? Like what is your designations are there based on that your level of access can be get on that, right? So that comes on authorizations. Are you getting my point? So authorization should be there. Is that clear? Identification and authorization. Now, what do you mean by the authentication? See, identification is there, authorization is there. So, if there's no authentication, any person can take your identity and do modification. It comes on your name. Some changes may happen. So, authenticate this user with the proper username, password, and the tracking IDs, physical access, biometric, facial, like get an access, whatever it may be there. So they should be know the proper authentications. They should have multi-level authentication, two-way authentication process. They must be created this in order to protect your accounts, because anybody can get access and can do anything and it comes on your name. Getting my point? So authentication is very important. So authentication is to get perfectly planned. That should not be taken your access by any other person. Right? Is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Identification, authentication, authorization. Is that clear? Now, what is accountability? Now, I am getting access to the system. I done certain activities. This activity must be tracked. Must be know what I have done on the corporate network.
Yes.
Now, you have an ability that you can modify the data. You have an ability that you have changing the log format. You altering the logs. You're just changing some information from those logs. Do you think like it is fine? No, right? Your activity should be recorded as it did what you have done. There should not be any modification should be required in the logs. Logs are giving the information, the task you perform on the device. Whatever the task you perform on the device, that's are been generating the logs here. So over that logs, what you have done, what type of process you have done, what are the activity you perform, that should be get measured properly. You getting my point? Is everybody is clear with that? So we can see that audit record the activity on a system. So here we can see that audit log is nothing but record all the activities on the system, indicating the ID responsible. Log should be protected from modification or alterations. So this access log should be controlled. Nobody should get an access to the logs and can do the modification. This is called as accountability. Identification, authentication, authority, authorizations, and accountability.
Accountability and authorization sounds similar.
Sorry? Accountability.
Accountability and authorization sound similar to me actually.
No, see, I'll tell you. Identifications, unique identifications of yours. Authentication, to get an access, you only should be able to access, you have the access on it. Like you have a satellite key, fingerprint, face, multi-factor authentication. With that, you get an access. Authorizations, you have a rights. What modification should be done, what should not be done, which is given to you. Based on that limit only, you use your systems, right? Now, whatever the activity you're performing on your computers, on the devices, on the corporate network, it must be recorded.
Yes.
How it's recording? With the help of logs. It's generating the logs based on your activity performing on the devices, right? Whatever the activities you perform on the device, that logs are been generating here. Yes or no? So if you modify those logs, then your activity, what you perform, it can be get changed, right? Are you getting my point? That should not be happen, no? That should be highly secure and there should be control, that right or not? So that is we call as like clear?
Yes, sir.
Is that fine, everybody? No. Firewalls. Now what is firewalls? Firewall is a system designed to prevent unauthorized access. Unauthorized access to or from the private network. Nobody should be able to get access to the private network, which is unauthorized person, which is not allowed to get access to it. So here they change the unauthorizations. They prevent those methods that should not. So you can implement a firewalls in either hardware or now you're getting my point. It's an hardware device or it can be a software device, and it is a combination of both can be formed. The firewalls prevent unauthorized internet user from accessing your private network connected to the internet, especially intranet when it is talked. Intranet is your private network, right on? Internet is your public network. Agree, within this office what we use, we set up that is called as private network. And something coming outside is called as public network. Now, firewalls have some types here. So packet filtering firewall. Now here what happens, there might be some suspicious process can be there in the packets. Not entire but certain level part of it, not huge data. Certain level of packet filtering process can be done by the packet filtering. Okay, so which is allowed, which should not be allowed, which should be rejected. That is also done by the firewall. That is called as packet filtering. Simple. What is the packet filtering speeches? So you can say that the system examine each packet entering or leaving the network, and that can be accepted or rejected. That can be accepted or rejected based on the user defined rules. Based on the user defined rules it works, right or not? So based on the user defined rules, it will be saying that it can be accepted or it can be get rejected. So packet filtering is fairly effective and transparent to the user, but it is difficult to configure. And additional, it is a susceptible to the IP spoofing also. Right? We can find it like IP spoofing. So here in this manner, we can see that allowed packet, disallowed packet, like whatever. So incoming packet, outgoing packet. So whatever the things are there, packet filtering will try to protect this network by disallow or allow the packet. This depends upon. Is that clear? Shall I go ahead, guys?
Packet filtering will be in the router part or?
Yeah, in the router. I'm talking about the router part. Circuit level gateway implementation. Circuit level gateway implementation. The process applies a security mechanism when a TCP or UDP connection is established. Circuit level gateway, when it is comes on that, this implementation applies when security mechanism system is working in between the TCP and UDP connection established. It can protect DDoS attack. DDoS attack, right or not? Large number of packet, large number of synchronized connection setup has been doing to the server, so that we can get an idea. Yes, there is something is going wrong here. We need to take an actions here, right or not? So here we can see that once the connection has been made, packet can flow between the host without further checking. Agree or not? So here, this type of level, which can be.
So, sir, can you repeat again?
Circuit level process can be used to get identify the number of packets which have been sending. So it is used to scan the TCP or UDP connections. Because once the connection is established, there's a lot of packets goes, right? So they will check on this. Now, acting as a
Proxy server.
what do you mean by the proxy?
On the behalf of someone we are doing.
It's a very simple. See, if you set up a connection, if you set up a connection, let's see that. So let's have it that this is my browser. This is our browser. Let us see that this is like laptop or computer which we are using. Agree or not? Now we have configured the proxy here. This is our proxy, and this is our internet. I can say that, right? This is our internet. So we are going to connect it to wherever we want it here. Whenever and whatever we want to do it, we are doing it. So I have given a request of HTTP request, right? Can give any request now. So that request will go first to the proxy. That first request go to the proxy. Now proxy break this connection first. Okay, it compare its rules and then establish a new connection towards the particular server. Reply comes, it break the connection and establish new connection, and that reply will go to the proxy. You getting my point, guys? Agree? So this is how proxy will work on it. So if we can see,
Proxy usually breaking the connections.
sorry,
Proxy why it will be
because it's another computer. Imagine it's another computer. If you need to hide your IP address, now. So when it's create a connection, then only it will going. Na? Internal logic system, you say that. What is practically it happens? It will break connection, establish new connection towards the. It takes your request, what you wanted.
and you break the
Obviously, right? Then only it established now. Got it, my boy? Then when get a reply, again it break the same reply, it push to the. Bro.
Change the IP address of the
Sorry?
it will change the IP address of this computer.
No, it not change computer IP address. See, understand the situation is that this is our system, na? This is our browser. Example 192.168.0.4. Right, this is my computer. Now, here we have the proxy. Here we have the proxy. Now the proxy IP address is 192.168.0.10. Okay. Now we are going to connect to the internet. We are going to connect to some server or something like here. Right or not? So when I establish a connection, so that connection will not go directly to the internet, but it will go to the proxy service. Right? Now proxy break that connection. Proxy break that connection and establish a new connection towards the server through the internet only, obviously, right? So while establishing the connection, do you think like this IP address or this IP address?
This was
Which one? 192.168.0.10. So it means like it's hiding your IP address, na?
yes.
And giving its own IP address. The request is be initiating by itself. Then it replies to you back.
It is acquiring our IP address.
Perfect?
Yes.
Is it clear? So a proxy server is a type of gateway. Gateway that hides the true network address of the computer connected through it. So through is 04, right? We are hiding that. So proxy server connect to the internet, make the request for the pages connection to the servers and receive the data on behalf of the computer behind it, and it will send it. So the firewall capability lies in fact that a proxy can be configured allow only certain type of traffic to be passed through the HTTP files or web pages. It's like there is a rule setup. There are the rules. What type of the URLs the user should be getting access? What are the control servers they should get connected? If any attack happens, there might be a malicious URL where it is that attack is trying to connect to the particular machine. So proxy will not allow that. They have the rule set up. So a proxy server has the potential drawback of slowing the network performance, and since it has active analyze and manipulate the traffic passing through it. So obviously quite at first packet will be slow. Agree? Clear my point, guys?
Only HTTP and HTTPS.
HTTP and HTTPS. Example. WAF. The proxy servers is not used to find out the vulnerabilities. It is used to prevent attacks or user behavior which are trying to get access to the URLs. Because proxy, see, if proxy is not there, any URLs you will go. Whatever activity you will perform, it will go on it. The user easily get access. Now you want to restrict that user should not go to the Facebook. It's similar like access control list you have in the routers, right? Access control list. But when we talk about this proxy, it's kind of rules it has. It has some rules. So that access control rules where it is have there, it will simply block everything, whatever you put it. Here it works with smartly. See, I said like, there is a person who want to get into the college. So there is a security guard. There is a security guard. And we are saying that anybody is getting into the college should come with the ID card. Should come with the ID card. So when the students are not wearing ID card, the watchman is not allowing it. Right? Now, if some staff is not wearing, is not allowing. You think like if the chairman is not wearing, the founder of the trustee, if he's not wearing, even also is not allowed, then what does it mean by that? Are you getting my point? So it should be capable in certain level, right? So that intelligence should be there, right? So it will be not done by the access control list in the router. Are you getting my point? Can be done with the properly way with the proxy only. You getting? Is that clear? So there's certain type of rules, method, techniques of detecting that is the malicious which is configured into the proxy. So it will control the user behavior. Strictly stop that the user should not access to the YouTube channel. Imagine in the college. Imagine in the office. Imagine in the home. So you can made it the proxy servers. You can block those requests. So it will allow the users to be get access only what type of requests they are going to. Right? Agree? Got it? My point now it's clear. So we have list of malicious files. Now outgoing or incoming traffic it will also block now. Now there is some phishing attack happens to your email. By SMPT servers, they have sent some email, you got it. Now from that link, it's trying to connect your system to the some control server, some malicious server. So while you're giving, it will block this request. No, you're not allowed to go there. Do you getting my point, guys? So it was happening. So that is what we call as proxy. Shall I go ahead? Is that clear, everybody? Now, web applications firewall. The web applications firewall is the hardware, appliance, server, plugin, or some other software filter that applies a set of rules onto a HTTP conversation. It's like certain type of rules which is defined whenever we getting access the HTTP servers. Okay, so here we can see that WAF, or we can call as a web applications firewall, helps to protect web applications by filtering and monitoring the HTTP traffic between a web application and the internet. Obviously, you getting my point? So it's monitoring between the user and internet what type of connection is established. So it is a protocol layer 7 defense, means like OSI module. It is not designed to defense against all type of attacks. So it means like all type of attacks will not protect it here. Here the method of attack mitigation is usually part of the suite of tools which is together to create a holistic defense against a range of attack vectors. There are the different type of attack vectors are there. Based on that only. Okay. So here we can see that web applications firewall often through a set of rules are called as policies. So these policies aim to protect against vulnerabilities in the application by filtering or by filtering of malicious traffic. So that we can say it is a very simple part. Agree? Now, the value of WAF comes in the part from the speed and easy with this policy modification can be implemented. What type of modification can be? So, allowing the faster response to verify the attack vectors during the DDoS attack, rate limiting, and can be quickly implemented and modified by the WAF policies. So, they can be protect that guys. Am I clear, everybody? Till here? Now, antivirus. So, what is the antivirus? As we know, like it will fight against all the malicious code in our computer, in our devices, right or not? So, it should remove all the malwares, all the virus in our computer. So, virus is a program, is a malicious code. We know that. We have not seen the type of malwares, no? But general information you have. We'll discuss that type of malwares and everything. Not to worry about it. So virus is a program which is loaded on the computer without our knowledge and runs against our wishes and create trouble to our system with antivirus software is block this. Means like virus is nothing but some bad code which have been putting into our computer without our permission, without our knowledge. And it is working against our happiness, against our wishes. Nobody wish to get the computer hacked, na? You're wishing that your computer should get hacked. So against the wish, right? So that can be a backdoor, that can be a ransomware, that can be of anything. Your computer will restart. Your computer can be do any. There are a different type of malwares are there. Not only virus, there can be a worm, there can be a logic bomb, there can be a ransomware, there can be adware, there can be a spyware, there can be a backdoor which can get access your computer. There can be a keylogger inject in your computer. So there may be a different malicious code can be there. So this antivirus will detect those malicious code and block to get access. So antivirus is a type of software program that help in protecting the computer system from viruses. Agree? Now it detect the viruses in your computer system and destroy them. So it is used for protecting from some traditional and simple threat that can be harm the computer system. But how it's going to detect is based on the signature. It's based on the signature. So an antivirus primary goal to detect and block the access to the malicious virus. So how it works? So when we have it, when we have this is the database. This is the database of the system which we are entering the packets. Here we got some malicious virus. There is some virus is detected that, and it's comparing with its database. If it is matches, then it says that yes, there is some attack is going on. There is some. If not matches, it says that everything is fine. Okay. So in this manner, how that works? Clear, everybody? It matches is a virus. Whatever the antivirus we install on devices are the clients, and they connected with the servers, controlling servers, which have database. Antivirus is nothing but a huge database. It's a huge database which compare, what exactly the signatures matches. Next generation antivirus EDR, endpoint detection response, we call this. Endpoint detections response, EDR something. So that is the next generation antivirus. We'll discuss that also. It will trace based on the behavior also. What are the behavior type and how it works.
So means every antivirus have its own database. So if the code is similarly present in our system also, it will get detected.
Sorry?
You said that antivirus have some database. If the code has been matched with our computer, it will detect as a virus.
Yes, yes. If it is matches in the packet, there is some signature there. I have inject my pen drive. I have connect my pen drive. In that some malicious file, some data is there. Some payloads are there, right or not? So while scanning, it got some matches with its data. Scanning process is matching with the database, comparing with it. Whatever things compare, it report is a virus. Take an action.
Every antivirus has its own logs and database. So it should match with the present computer database.
Yes. Got it? Now, IDS IPS. IDS IPS. Intrusion detection system. Intrusion detection system is a system that monitor network traffic for the suspicious activity and issues alert when such a activity is discovered. Certain activity is discovered on the net. For traffic detections, we have firewall. Activity detections, we are talking about IDS. You're getting my difference here. Now, it is a software application. So, it's a software application that scan network system for the harmful activity or the policy breaches which can be taken. So, any malicious venture or the violation is normally reported either to an administrator or the collect centrally using the security information event management system. So, whenever any activity, any violation is created, there are two parts. One, through administrator of IDS IPS or directly to the SIEM if it is configured. If it is configure the SIM part. You know, configure means like assigning and addressing the agent where it should send it. The IP address should be assigned, right or not? So here a SIM system is integrated to output the multiple across and use the alarm filtering technique to differentiate malicious activity from the false alarms. So they can take it. Agree? You getting my point, guys? Now, if I talk about same thing, if I talk about the IPS, it's kind of same thing. Prevent, it's take action also. It alert, report, and need of action to be done. Here there is no need of action, rule defined, it automatically take an action. So IPS is the intrusion prevention system. It's also known as intrusion detection and prevention system. It detects and prevent the system. So it is a network security applications that monitor the network or the system activities for the malicious activities. Major function of IPS are identify malicious activity. To modify the malicious activity, collect the information about that activities and report it and attempt to block or stop doing those activities. Not only allowing that, we are stopping them. They should not allow to do this part. Got it? Now, if we see the difference between the IDS and IPS, you can get clear idea. IDS are designed to detect and monitor tools. It can offer. These tools do not take actions on their own. Means IDS will never take an action on their own here. So IDS required a human or another system to look after it, to take an action. Now let's talk directly with IPS. Now IPS is the control system. IPS is IDS is the monitoring system. IPS is a control system. It can control certain things. So the control system accept and reject the packet based on the rule set. It will accept and it will reject the packet based on the rule sets. So IPS requires that the database gets regular updated within the thread data. Every time it should be get updated into database. This thing should not do, this thing should be doing it. So here the both read the network packet and compare content to a databases of known threats, similar way like antivirus, similar like an antivirus. See, ideas what it will do it. Any bad activities happens, it just can report it. It can't take an action. Monitor. But IPS what it will do, it take action. No, you're not allowed. It not get an access. It not get in that. That packet should be get accepted or can be rejected based on the rules where the IPS system can do it when you reject.
Rules already set.
Yeah, rules are set and they should be modified. They should be get updated every time. That is what is saying that IPS required. IPS required that the database get regularly updated. The database should be regularly updated with the new thread data. Whatever the new thread data we have it should be get updated every time. So the actions can be taken. That's what I said. IPS will monitor. See, there is something going on in room. Okay. Now there are the two person is there. I'll give you an example. We have a group of traffic here. Okay. Now we have this asset here. This asset. Now I have allocate IDs here. I said like these students, the kids should not get touch this. They should not play with us. We stop them. So IDs we have put it here. So IDs what it will do it will not stop them. It will monitor and report it. Children are like touching that. They are doing some activities here. There is something malicious which according to your rule set, it should not touch that, but they are touching it. Internet protocol established and it is giving the message in this manner. Okay. Now instead of that, if the IPS is there, after IPS also is there, na?
Yes.
Now what IPS will do it, when it found something is happening, it will stop it. You're not allowed to go there. Don't touch this. Stop. You got it now? What is the example between IPS? It's the process happens. And the rules, whatever it is. Now, according to us, there is some more malicious thing out there. Now the kids have started doing and playing with this plug. Okay? But IPS don't know that. It may think like it is not suspicious, let them do it. Got it my point? No, we need to update that rules now. Not only the router, but also focus on. That is also a threat.
It gets updated by itself or
No, it should be update required for manual.
We should manually update with this one.
Database should be get. You getting my point? Is that clear, everybody? So this is how where the IDS and IPS systems works. Good. Now, proxy, which we discussed, so you will get an idea about that. A proxy server acts as a gateway between you and the
internet.
proxy servers act as a gateway in between you and the internet is acting the gateway in between you and the server. Forget about proxy.
Yeah.
Just leave over the proxy. Internet is your gateway. Whenever you want to connect to the server, you give a request to the internet. From that, it will going to the server. So when we added the proxy, so proxy is the middle in between the computer and the internet. That acts like a gateway. Now what is that? It's an intermediary server separately in user from the website. The proxy server provide varying level of functioning, security side, privacy depending upon your use cases, needs and company policies. What they have. Same thing. We give a request, go to the proxy. From that, it goes to the internet, right? Now, how does the proxy server operate? So, proxy server basically a computer on the internet. Agree or not? Just imagine that. So, with its own what I'm saying, with this whole IP address, that your computer knows. So, when you send a web request, your request goes to the proxy server first. Now, the proxy server may your request to the behalf of you to the response from the web server or forward that to the web pages we can see in the your browser. That happens. Whatever the request you are sending, whatever the request is coming, that we are seeing on the browser between proxies. Breaking original connection, establishing, sending, breaking original connection, establishing the connection for incoming packet and all. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So why should we use proxy server? To control internet uses for the employees and children's exam. Bandwidth saving and improving speeds. Privacy benefits and improve the security system for that. Rules defined? This has to be. So control the internet uses of employees and children's. Organization and parents set up the proxy server to control and monitor how their employees or kids use the internet. What type of things they are using. I don't know. It's very important, no? What are the employees are doing, where it is going, it may be vulnerable to the organization. Bandwidth saving and improve speed. So organization can also get better overall network performance with the good proxy servers. So proxy server can catch, save, copy and website locally from popular users browser. So very quickly. Privacy benefits. Individual organizations like use the proxy server to browse the internet more privately. So proxy can get access. And improve security. So proxy server provide the security benefits on the top of the privacy benefits. So you can configure your proxy server to encrypt your web requests to the keeping prying eyes from the reading your transactions. So who's using it will be encrypted and it will go inside. Now this is a forward proxy. This is a forward proxy. There is also the reverse proxy are there. Got it, my point? Forward proxy which are from the client. Now reverse proxy are there at the server. So the same thing happens when we send a request. That request comes from the proxy, forward proxy to the reverse proxy. Now reverse proxy filter that and again give to the server. And so on. It will transition happen.
Same like vice versa.
Like vice versa. Same vice versa. Forward and reverse request. So that's it for today. Okay. Next sessions, because if I'll talk more, you'll not remember. Consuming is also very important. Right? So we'll discuss more detail in the next sessions. We'll talk more like how the DLP works, what are the process happens. Okay? Clear?
We are using a DOS and DDoS to make a server busy. So when you are logging to Facebook website,